In today's video, I want to go through 2 days examples of eating at 1,500 calories and 120 grams of protein per day. One of you had asked me to make such a video, and I realized that whilst we want to hit our protein goals, a lot of us just don't know what that actually physically looks like. Now, I don't have all the food prepared, but I will go through like a typical day of eating enough protein, what that might look like. And then I will share with you my day's eating yesterday from when I tracked my own food. And you can see how the 2 days could look quite different, but still hit those targets there or thereabouts. Then at the end of the video, I want to teach you how to do this yourself. So I'm going to give you a list of just basic, normal protein sources and how much protein they contain per 100 grams. And then you can sort of see how we could build a diet like this for yourself. And just a word, this is for meat eaters, for omnivores. This isn't a video for, well, you could watch it as a vegan or vegetarian. However, you would need to substitute vegan protein sources because this video talks about animal products. I'm sorry, it is what it is. I'm not a vegan, and I do find it quite difficult because vegan protein sources come with a lot of carbs with them. For example, the chickpeas and the beans and the quinoa. And so I found that they are more of a carb source with protein. And so you would need to eat quite a big volume, and it's not like a pure protein source. And so you would need to probably supplement. But moving on, I think this is the video for people who eat a mixed diet. Okay, so I've got my notes here, and I will put this diet on the screen as well with the nutritional info. I entered this into Fat Secret. That is the tracking app that I use. And so a sample day where you would get 128 grams of protein and your calories would total 1,509. This is what a sample day would look like. This is not exactly how I eat. It's kind of close enough. I could eat this way if I wanted to, but this is what I would consider people would eat. So you could do 2 eggs, scrambled or poached. I haven't put fat in with the cooking method, so you would scramble them in a non-stick pan or poach them, obviously with just water, on 2 slices of toast, white bread, brown bread, whichever you prefer. No butter is included though in this breakfast. The reason is we are trying to stick to 1,500 calories for the day. So you could add butter. It's not that you can't. This is just an idea to see how you could hit your protein goals within 1,500 calories for the day. And then I've included a coffee with a generous like 80 mils of milk. That's pretty much what I use in my coffee, although I try and go down to 60 mils. You know, all the calories add up. They do add up. And so one needs to be mindful. But there's your breakfast, the scrambled eggs on toast. As a snack, you could have it mid-morning or afternoon. I've put 1 medium Granny Smith apple and a packet of almonds. So here in South Africa, you get them pre-packaged. There's a company called Woolworths, and they come in 30-gram packs. So I've included that. That is typical what somebody could and would eat. To drink, hopefully just water or black tea or coffee. I haven't included more teas and coffees throughout the day, again, because that would push up the calorie count a bit. And I don't know whether you are into that. So the sample is just doing food. For lunch, it would be something also, again, very typical. A chicken breast. A chicken breast is about 6 ounces or 170 grams. That is the average. It's quite a big chicken breast. And I'm assuming you are grilling it or sort of steaming it or something like a cooking method that is not using fat. And I've put that in a generous salad. So 3 cups of salad goodies, leaves, cucumbers, tomatoes, carrots, with a quarter of an avo. Now, if you look here on the screen, look how many calories are in just a quarter of an avo. And so just be mindful. This will also teach you how calories add up quite fast. And then for dinner, we've got 150-gram fillet steak with a teaspoon of olive oil that was used on just to like baste the pan to grill that steak on, with a baked potato. And there you have it. I'm going to put the day's sort of total breakdown on the screen for you, and you can see we hit 128 grams of protein and 1,500 calories, or 1,509 calories to be exact. So like I say, if you include tea or coffee, you would add a bit of milk. That would push up your protein if it's whole milk. If it's skim milk, obviously it would be a bit less, but it would also push up your calories a little bit throughout the day. Not the end of the world. It really depends on your goals, but that is what a day's worth of eating would look like, hitting your macro for protein. And now I'm going to share with you what I ate yesterday, and what I got in total was actually overshot. I got 134 grams of protein, and my calories came in at 1,444. Now just remember, just because the app says I got 1,444 calories doesn't mean I got exactly that. Maybe I entered something wrong. Maybe it's tracking something a bit wrong, because maybe this particular app says that food has that amount, but another app might say that food has a different amount. You know, when you Google how much protein in something, you get a few different answers, or how many calories in something. You get a few different answers. So I would say, if you're pedantic like me, take the general of, like, say, 3 or 4 different information sources, just to make sure that you feel this is the right information. But, and again, when you're tracking, like yesterday, I had maybe a cup and a half of mixed roast vegetables. I don't know if it was a cup or not. I don't know the exact weight. So when I enter that, it's a guesstimate. Could have been more, could have been less. So maybe I had 50 extra calories. I don't know. Okay, so my breakfast was 30 grams of raw oats, which I then cooked. So it was the steel cut whole grain oats, 30 grams of that with 3 egg whites and 1 yolk. So meaning 1 whole egg, plus I added in 2 egg whites. I had my usual little treat, which is 1 square of Lindt 70% dark chocolate with 1 tablespoon of peanut butter, which I smear on top. That is just my daily treat. It's the thing that makes me feel, I don't know, okay. So I had that. And yes, I know now, one of you had pointed out that Lindt contains heavy metals. So just a side note, I did go and watch Brian Johnson's video on the contaminants in chocolate and which chocolate is the most pure. Lindt came out somewhere in the middle. And to be honest, I didn't know that chocolate had heavy metals at all. So that's something to be concerned about, another thing with the food. But anyway, let's just move on from that. That could be a whole separate video. Anyway, so Lindt, and if you look on the nutritional breakdown, Lindt 70% chocolate is mostly a fat, as is peanut butter. So in my breakfast, I get a lot of fat. I get the yolk fat, I get the Lindt and the peanut butter. And then during the morning, whilst we're all waking up, making school lunches, getting ready, like I'll have a cup when I wake up and then another cup just before I do the school run. And in my coffee, I'm a bit of a heavy milk pourer, so it's usually about 80 mils, but if I'm being good and measuring, it's 60 mils. And so I estimated my milk for the morning in my coffee, which is where the calories come from really, at 130 mils. Then for lunch, I had a half a cup of cooked white rice with 100 grams of ostrich fillet. So ostrich is also like a venison. It's that big bird. I don't know if you know what an ostrich is. And I had 100 grams, which I'd measured out. I chopped that in with the rice. And then I had also some broccoli, which comes in at virtually nothing. Then I measured out 40 grams of blueberries. So that is like a fairly generous handful. And then I had some plain cooked mushrooms with that as well. And then for dinner, it was 150 grams fillet steak, which I cooked, where I sort of basted or lightly wiped the pan with olive oil. And so that's why I've included just a tiny bit of oil in there. And then I had, as I said, about a cup, maybe a cup and a half of mixed roasting veg, which I roasted in a tray. Use a bit of stock just to flavor them, and water. So very, very little oil, a little bit of oil, like just a drizzle of oil with them. And then after dinner, I had my, which I have every night, my Nomu Skinny Hot Chocolate. That's a brand, and it doesn't contain sugar because I do have blood sugar issues. And I had that with about 80 mils of milk. And then all the other things that I eat and nibble on in the day, I included all of those under the snacks portion. So when I take creatine, I have a little bit of Oros just to flavor the water and knock it back. So there's Oros. I had 1 tablespoon of collagen powder in my coffee. I had 5 nuts. I know it sounds very little and ridiculous, but I know that nuts are little balls of fat. Nuts are not a good protein source. Don't mistake them for protein. They are fat. I had a bite of some decadent pudding that was lying in the fridge and I just couldn't resist. So I listed that. I couldn't find that pudding on the app. So I just put this like chocolate cake. I mean, not chocolate cake, this mixed gâteau. What did I put there? Some kind of cake thing, because I just had 1 spoonful. And then I also had whey protein powder, a mix of 2 different whey proteins because I've got them in the cupboard. And I added in some psyllium husk for fiber. And I was shocked when I tracked the psyllium husk. I actually saw that that has calories too. So just track everything. And there you can see that. So my day is quite mixed. There's like the collagen, which also has protein in it and calories, the collagen powder. So my day's got a bit of that, and I do use a whey protein powder. In fact, we've got 3 different kinds in my pantry cupboard right now. So I kind of maybe mix 2. The one is very watery. So I mix the watery one with the thicker one, or I mix the other one with that one. I don't know, just for variety and because I can. And so that's how I boost my protein every day, especially if I'm looking for a sweet taste, because the protein powders are all flavored. They're all chocolate flavored. They all have sweetener in them. And then, but you must track these things. But there you can see easily. So I easily actually overshot. I hit 134 grams of protein yesterday, which is probably more than I need. But as I've said in previous videos, you should always rather, if you're going to overeat on any macro, and our macro is just protein, carbs, and fats are your 3 macros, rather overeat on protein. Don't overeat on fats if you can avoid it. And as you can see in these 2 days that I've given you examples, your fats add up quite easily. I don't use a lot of fat in cooking, and easily you get like 50 or 60 grams of fat in a day. That's inherent in the egg yolk, that's with the cooking of your steak, that's in the avocado in that salad, it's in the nuts, in the peanut butter. And so I would say just be careful. Fat adds up quickly. It's in milk if you have whole milk, which I do enjoy whole milk. I'm not a big fan of the taste of skim milk. And now I thought lastly, to end off this video, just to give you some sort of solid grounding, because I want you to be able to build your own day's worth of eating and hit your protein target. And for most ladies, 120 grams of protein is going to be a good number to hit. If you are taller and bigger, you may want 140 grams of protein. It really depends on your lean or ideal body weight that you are shooting for. But let's just say you do want to get 120 grams of protein. I have a list, I will put it on the screen here, of various protein sources. These would be common protein sources. So I haven't really included weird things, but things that most people would eat, most people would grab. It's a go-to. So chicken breast per 100 grams. Now, remember, I said earlier, an average chicken breast would weigh about 170 grams or 6 ounces. So per 100 grams of that, you would get about 31 grams of protein. Again, just Google it. Google has these answers too. Fillet steak per 100 grams is 25 grams of protein. According to my food app, it's 29 grams of protein per 100 grams. So again, 2 different answers, but they are close enough. 25 grams, 29 grams. There's only a 4-gram difference. So you can kind of bank on around, if you want to average it, say 27 grams, So fillet steak, so surprisingly, chicken breast has more protein per 100 grams. In 1 egg, you get 6.4 grams of protein. In 1 egg white, you get 3.6 grams of protein. The beauty of egg white is that there is no fat in it. So if you are wanting to cut back on your fat throughout the day, I would say just include 1 yolk in your whatever you're making, your omelette, your scrambled eggs, whatever it is. So that's generally what I do, because the yolk is what has the nutrition. And so you don't want to not ever eat egg yolks. And they also say try and eat them not hard. Try and eat the egg yolk runny, because something in it spoils with cooking. And I can't remember, was it the lutein, I think, in the egg yolk? It was in a Huberman Lab podcast that I listened to. So try and have your egg yolks runny if you can tolerate them that way. Fat-free cottage cheese. It's not the most fantastic source of protein, but per 100 grams, you get 11 grams of protein. For 1 cup of Greek yogurt, you get about 20, 21 grams of protein, but Greek yogurt does have a fair amount of fat. It's got some carbs from the lactose. And so a cup of Greek yogurt has around about 400 calories, which is quite high. So just be mindful again when you are building your protein. Tuna per 1 can, you're going to get around 26 grams of protein. And obviously the drained weight of a can of tuna, a normal typical can of tuna in brine or water. The drained weight is around 120 grams. So for that, you get about 26 grams of protein. Pork fillet, you can get that lean pork, that pork fillet piece. That's about 26 grams of protein per 100 grams. Now, hake, here's surprising. Fish has less protein per 100 grams than, let's say, steak or chicken or pork. It has only 18 grams of protein per 100 grams. So, it's funny when people say fish is a lighter meat, they are correct, actually. Ham, you get the very lean ham, like we get what's called here the Beechwood smoked ham. It's quite lean. It only has 1.3 grams of fat per 100 grams. And that you're going to get about 21 grams of protein. So it is on a par with a lot of the other meats. And then liver as well. Surprisingly, a good protein source per 100 grams. When I Googled it, it said 26 grams of protein. So think about it this way. Most of these things, except for the hake and the fat-free cottage cheese, most of these protein sources average around about 25 grams of protein per 100 grams. So all your meats. So you could think of getting 100 grams of protein at breakfast, so 100 grams of chicken breast or whatever it is you want, or 100 grams out of your egg whites, 100 grams at breakfast, 100 grams at lunch, 100 grams at dinner, and some kind of a snack, and you would hit 100 grams of protein for the day. So that is how you could think of it. If you just did one more of those, you would be at 120 grams of protein. So if you ate 3 main meals and 2 snacks, and you included 100 grams of protein, 100 grams of protein, 100 grams of the actual protein source, sorry, not that it contains 100 grams of protein, but like 100 grams of chicken breast, however many egg whites you needed, 100 grams of fillets, 120 grams of tuna, the tuna can, and let's say 100 grams of ham. There you would quite easily hit 120 grams of protein for your day, and then you would now build your meals around those protein sources, and you'd add in your breads, your pastas, your baked potato, sweet potato, barley, quinoa, any carb source you liked, you would have that with. It could be fruit, an apple, it could be vegetables, starchy or non-starchy. You would build that in until you got to 1,500 calories. And that would be how I would at least personally build my meal plan for the day if I want to hit certain targets. So I would start with my protein first, because protein is so vital. Ladies, if you want to recomp your body, you cannot skimp on the protein. As we age, we cannot skimp on the protein. If you want good looking, healthy skin, hair, and nails, you cannot skimp on the protein, because protein has all the amino acids. I mean, what is collagen powder? It's amino acids. It gets broken down into the amino acids that we need to build the collagen in our hair, skin, and nails. And so whilst I'm supplementing just to see what happens, I do believe if you had adequate amino acids circulating and you had your vitamin C, you would probably be just as well off. You wouldn't really need to supplement collagen, although what's the harm? And if something is harmless, why not do it? So there you go. I hope that this video has helped cement in your mind that it's not that hard to hit 120 grams of protein in a day. I mean, 100 grams of steak is about the size of my palm. It's not a thick sort of piece. And so it's not big, bulky amounts of protein. If you go out to a restaurant and order a 200-gram fillet steak, which is a lady's steak, what they consider a small lady's steak, you are already getting about 40 to 50 grams of your daily protein right there and then. That is half the protein you need for the day at the minimum. So I heard JJ Virgin say that a basic bare minimum that she would recommend for women is about 100 grams of protein a day. So it's not that hard to do, but you must be mindful of always getting in your protein and get them in smaller amounts throughout the day so that you get it in. And what you would have noticed, ladies, is in all of these meals that I gave you, what I ate, what the sample sort of meal was, there's protein with all of them. And we are not eating things like muffins, things like donuts, things like potato chips out of a bag, crisps. We are not eating like chicken nuggets, which are full of oils, and fish fingers. We are eating whole, real proteins. And you know, these other foods are mostly carby and fatty. So whilst they do have protein in them, and so does bread, contains some protein, it's not really that bioavailable. And I always say focus on real actual protein sources. So it is a bit more challenging if you are vegan or vegetarian. It can be done. It really can be done. I'm probably not your best resource right now. I need to learn more about how to do it as a vegan. But like I say, I'm not vegan. So there you go. There's some practical tools and tips. I hope that this was helpful. I will see you guys in the next video. And the next two videos that are popping up on the screen as I say goodbye, I think you would really enjoy. So please be sure to check them out. Bye, ladies.